Brilliant. So here we go. This is March's education webinar, but it didn't happen because end of financial year was happening instead. We're just April Fool's Day. It's still actually March. Be kind to me. So today we're talking about accounting software, tips and tricks that you might be able to use in your business. So a little bit about us. We won Bookkeeper of the Year last month, but that was for 2020. Thanks very much, COVID. So Xero is my software of choice, and I absolutely love working with them. We were also awarded the 2020 Bookkeeper of the Year for the Institute of Certified New Zealand Bookkeepers. And we work with companies doing bookkeeping, financial accounting, business development, and companies in financial difficulty. So my niche is startups and those really struggling, and we help turn them all around and make them profitable little businesses again, and business owners not to be so stressed. Today, 100% participation. Ask all the questions you can. This is software that I use day in, day out, so I might actually just go too fast. I might miss something, thinking that actually probably not thinking, it just happens. So if I don't explain something enough, by all means ask the question and I will actually go back and explain it. And have fun. So if we're enjoying this process today, then you're going to actually remember more, but bearing in mind that this recording will be available on our website tomorrow. So if you go, oh, I saw something, you can actually go back to our website and re-watch it. Feel free to just ask questions, or if you don't want to ask questions, you can just use the chat function and put up a question, and I will go through and deal with that one. So let's jump in. Can you now see my Xero screen, Xero tips and tricks?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, technology is working for me today. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to bounce between Xero tips and tricks, because I'm going to show you Hubdoc and the demo company. So by all means, let me know if we go too fast. So here in your My Xero, so I'm actually logged in as Joe Blogs consumer. I'm not logged in as an accounting partner at the moment. So what we're showing you is the actual functionality that you've actually got. This is your screen. So if you click on your company name, which is always up here in the top corner, you've actually got this drop down. If you have the starter version, starter premium, or starter standard or premium, you will have Hubdoc. And if you have, if you have the standard or the premium version of Xero, you'll also have Xero expenses as well. So down here, you've got My Xero. And, oh, hang on a minute, I think that's gone to where, bear with me one moment. Oh, no. This one. This is the one we need to be in. So there you go. You've got My Xero, Hubdoc, projects, and the app marketplace. So if you're looking for something new, an add-on, or you want to try and do something a little bit better, the app marketplace is a good place to go and check out what's available for you. Files. So everyone's got files, and this is a really good place to actually put things in to upload loan documents, insurance statements, anything like that, insurance documents, because it's secure. It's a filing box and you don't need to panic about trying to go and find things. If the house burns down and you're sitting on the beach in Fiji, you can go to your Xero app on your phone, download your insurance documents and know exactly what's going on. Bear with me one moment, please. I've just got to send the link out to someone else. And this will be the last one. So in here, you can create folders. And, you know, let's say this is end of financial year 2021. Really good idea if you've got a document throughout the year that you go, oh, the accountant's going to ask me for that. You can actually put it into this folder, and then when the accountant actually asks for all the paperwork, you can actually go, it's actually all in Xero files, go and find it. So this is actually a really good place to store all of your paperwork that you may need in the future. If you just lost my train of thought for a moment there. Really good place to actually keep all of your documents, and if you decide in future years that you actually don't want to run your business anymore and you're going to stop working with Xero, you can actually stop paying for your subscription. If you then suddenly need this important document that you know was stored into Xero, you can actually just come back and start paying for your subscription again, and all of your documents are secure. So have a look at that. The way you find it is, once again, click on your company name and it's in files right here. So I'm going to jump into My Xero. So everyone has a My Xero, and you'll see the demo company. If you're ever worried about doing something and whether it's going to be the right thing or not, and you just want to make sure, you can actually go into the demo company, do whatever you like, play with it. You cannot break it. So if you want to practice, the demo company is there. But you've also got access to Xero Central. So Xero Central is here as well. And under Xero Central, you've got the support tab. Generally, it is actually quicker to reach out to one of your advisors, so either a bookkeeper or an accountant, to actually get the support that you need to answer a question, because it's probably quite easy for us. But you can actually log a case with Xero Central if that's what you'd like to do. There's also this learning tab. So under Xero Central, you can actually go through and watch all of these programs, set up Xero, the product updates, and I'm pretty sure if we choose a learning program, you can actually become Xero certified. So this is all available to you free of charge because you're a Xero subscriber. So, and the way that you reach that is by the question mark, which is up here next to your letters of your name. So you got your letters of your name, question mark, that's going to take you through to Xero Central. And then you've got the demo company. So let's jump into the demo company. Any questions on that before we move on? Does it make sense? Is it of any value?
Why would you want to become Xero certified? What benefit is that to the average Joe blogs?
It is, you don't actually need to be Xero certified, but if we jump into here, it has got lots and lots and lots of material. So I want to learn about banking. How do I do the banking side? And then it takes you through a full course explaining it to you.
Yeah.
So when you have done a certain number of courses, so when you've sort of gone through and actually done all of these, then you actually get a certificate. The certificate may not mean much, but it is actually available for you to actually work through the things that you want to do.
Yep.
Might be valuable, might not.
Cool, thank you.
So here in the demo company, what you've got along the top, dashboard, business, accounting, payroll for those that use it, projects for those that use it, in contacts. The dashboard is day-to-day stuff. So this is your bank accounts. It's got your watch list that you want to create. It's got all your invoices and bills that you need to pay. And we can add stuff to this screen that may be of interest to you, may not be. If it's not of interest, we take it away. The business tab is pretty much anything related to day-to-day business. So that is your short-term cash flow, your business snapshot, invoicing, bills to pay, products and services and expenses. So that's your day-to-day business. And as business owners, you will spend a lot of time under the business tab. There are some things under the accounting tab. So me as a business advisor, I spend a lot of time in the accounting tab because that's more about reports, GST returns, it's the chart of accounts, all that real gnarly accounting stuff that you probably don't want to deal with. And then you've got contacts. So contacts are actually really valuable, but can get very messy very quickly. So in contacts, if let's look at ABC Furniture, it actually keeps a running total of what's happening with each client. You've also got notes. So I can put a note in here. Spoke to Barry. He said he would pay $60. And then it's actually tracked with the time, the date that we actually did it. So if you're chasing a debtor or something like that, actually put all your notes and everything into Xero so that you can come back and actually look and go, right, I did this then. And if you're using Office 365 or Gmail, you can actually connect up your emails. So then any email that's going to come from, in this case, ABC Furniture, will actually be stored in their account file, in their client file here. We can edit your clients. And we're coming, and we're coming. So we can add in details, phone numbers, postal addresses. If you've got credit limits, so if you want to make sure that you don't keep selling to someone who hasn't paid bills, you can actually put in credit limits here. If you're using business banking, we enter in the bank account number and all of that sort of stuff so that we can then actually just export a file, upload it to the bank. ASB, it actually, you push batch payment here. The file actually directly goes from Xero into ASB, so you don't actually need to upload the file. So the difference between that is business banking. If you've got personal banking, then we can't really do that. So double check to see what level of banking you've got. If you're sending out bills all the time to the same people, you can pre-populate the due date. So that can be, say, the 20th of the following month, can be 20 days after the bill date, and then you're not going to need to keep entering this sort of data for these particular clients. If you've got sales discounts, so these people get 15% off their invoices, we can actually set all that up so you don't need to remember what you're actually offering people. Any questions when it comes to contacts? If you want to send a statement out to just one person, you can click on options. Oh, sorry, no, it's not. Where'd it go? Normally is there. We will come back to that. We'll come back to that one. So now if we go through to the dashboard and let's look at reconciling some things. So you can see here, we've actually got an invoice set up in the system for Ridgeway University. So let's just have a look. Under business, invoices, awaiting payment, and you'll see here our Ridgeway University. This is the invoice here. So we've seen that payment for Ridgeway University sitting in the dashboard waiting to be reconciled. One of the things that I see business owners do all the time, and it really causes an issue, so I'm going to show you how it's done, is they go, right, that bill has been paid because I've seen it in the bank account. So I'm now going to put on here, here's my sales invoice. Down here it says receive a payment. So I've received that much money and I received it last week and it was paid into this business bank account. So that's cool. It's now paid and everything's all solved. See, that invoice is now being paid. It sits under the paid tab. If I now come back to the dashboard, get rid of that, then I'm no longer matching to the invoice, which is what these are. I'm now matching to the payment. And what a lot of small business owners will do, this is causing me issues, is it won't automatically match sometimes. And so then they go into here and go, oh yeah, well, I've paid off that invoice. So this is now Ridgeway University and that was sales. Effectively what you've just done is actually said that you've now been paid twice by Ridgeway University. So here's the payment here that we've actually put through. So on the sales invoice down the bottom where we've said make a payment, we've filled it in to say, yes, we've received a payment. We got the $6,000. It was on this date. It went into that bank account. If I now search for that amount of money, 618,750, you'll see here that we've actually got 618,750, 618,750. This is the one that was come through off our invoice where I put in the make a payment or receive a payment. This payment down here is the one that I cash coded. So what that means is on your GST return, we've now got 3 payments and we should only have 2. So it means you've paid too much GST. How we get around that is number one, on your sales invoice, we don't put that it is being paid. So that's probably the first thing. If there's anything that you learn from this, do that, receive a payment down the bottom or pay off an invoice down the bottom. Never, ever, ever do that. That's bad and I will grow. But you can see now that if I come back to that invoice,
Good option in the council.
this one, 618,750. That one still says it's paid. Hang on, that is the one. Let me come back to here. There it is there. So this one is now no longer paid, but the payment, because we cash coded it at the dashboard, it now actually says that that payment's gone, but it hasn't gone to this invoice. Have I lost everyone, or are you still following me?
No, I'm lost.
Okay.
Oh, it seems so complicated. How do you avoid that happening?
So essentially what happens is if you have an invoice in the system, so let's say Smart Agency, $4,500. I could put in here, this is paid from Smart Agency and it goes to professional services. What that will do is it gets rid of the payment off the dashboard, puts the money into the bank account and it allocates it to the GST return if you're GST registered. What it won't do is pay off the invoices that are in the system. So what we need to do is, here's the payment. If we know that we've entered the invoice for Smart Agency, then we need to come into here and actually allocate it to these two invoices. So 2 invoices, $4,500, $4,500. So you can go down the line and just connect up with all the invoices that are attached to that payment.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And go, okay. So now what we've done is we've taken that payment off the dashboard. That's now actually firmly in the bank, and it's paid off the invoices that are in the system waiting to be paid.
Right.
So here we've got City Limousines. They've paid us $100. And along the top here, you've got match, create, transfer, discuss. Match is where we can go and find all of these invoices to be able to allocate the payment to it. I just get out of that. Create is where we cache code. So if we don't have an invoice in the system, if we don't have a bill in the system, then we've got to use the create code. And we'd probably use the create screen for bank fees, anything like that. So I'll just ask Annette, it's coming through the webinar. Sorry, I've had a technical issue this morning, so I'm having to do this in the main office. So this morning, I've just lost my train of thought. So yeah, so you've got the create tab. The create will actually be things like bank fees. If you don't have a receipt or something like that that has not been entered into the system, then you would use the create tab. But 9 times out of 10, you'd be entering an invoice for a sale, or you'd be entering a bill for a purchase that you need to pay off. So you'd be using the match tab in that case. If it's money transferring between bank accounts, then you'd use the transfer tab. So I've seen a lot of business owners actually go, right, that's funds introduced, or that's going to sales, or moving money around. But all you need to do if it's money going from one bank account to the other is use the transfer tab. And at the end of the day, if you just get really stuck and don't know what to do, discuss is your best friend. So what you can do here is click on the discuss tab, put in your comments, and then just save it. And what happens then is that your advisor, your bookkeeper, your accountant, another staff member, whoever you actually have access to this, can look at it and go, oh, yep, I know what to do with this. They'll either turn around and type back into here, this is what you should do. And then their answer comes back to you so that you learn, or they'll actually just jump in and fix that up. So in this case, this is City Limousines. They've actually paid us some money. but it's not going to match to an invoice. So if we sit here and go, right, City Limousines, they've made a part payment. So we can click on the invoice that this applies to, and then you split. So now what we're saying is we've made a part payment of $100 and there's $150 remaining on this invoice. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So have I got everyone back when it comes to reconciling? Okay. So if I come back to the fact that we've got that Ridgeway University one outstanding, because we've actually cash coded the payment instead of applying it to the invoice, we come under here to account transactions. So when you're looking at your bank screen, you've got reconcile, which is the tab, the transactions that you need to reconcile. On this side here, this is what's coming directly through from your bank account. And on this side, this is what you're going to enter into Xero. So we could have this payment is from Jacaranda Maple Systems. I know that that's actually a payment for Joe Blogs. And so if I now enter this as Joe Blogs, and that's sales, then in Xero, we're now going to have Joe Blogs as a client, because that's what that's the data I've entered into Xero. Okay. Cash coding. Some of you may have this, some of you may not. If your accountant actually owns your subscription, you may not have full functionality because they may have just given you what you need. So if you don't have cash coding, it's because you don't own your subscription and your accountant hasn't given it to you. Essentially, probably not a good idea to use it, because at the end of the day, if you're using cash coding, you're not uploading paperwork into Xero. And Xero is a secure storage facility when it comes to storing of documents. So upload all your invoices, your receipts, that sort of stuff. You don't actually need to keep a paper file. Xero has guaranteed they will hold your records for 7 years. But if you did want to use cash coding, it would be a case of, right, all of these ones here, they're all motor vehicle expenses, and then it just codes it all and you would go save and reconcile, all done. If we wanted to do the whole lot and go, this is all motor vehicle expenses, then your reconciliation is going to get done really quickly, but possibly not right. So cash coding is there, that's what it's used for. So then that's what you may not be worthwhile doing, but that's what you can see. Bank statements. This tab has got everything that is reconciled and unreconciled. So if you're trying to find a payment and you can't find it in the account transactions tab, come into bank statements and actually see, search for it in here. So if we go $125, for example, seriously? Try that. So then this is reconciled. If it is here, you'll see these ones are reconciled, that one's unreconciled. So you can pretty much see every single transaction and see on what side of the fence it's actually sitting on. In account transactions, it's everything that you've reconciled. And if you've got a problem, so up here we've got business bank account 8417, the balance in Xero is 56. If you have done all your reconciliations and these two figures are not the same, then it's potentially because we've got something like this happening. And the way you find that out is by clicking on the status button. So the status button will actually go and line everything up and tell you these are all the problems. And right at the very beginning, we put in a payment on their invoice to the Ridgeway University, and this is where it comes. It sits here. It doesn't show up in Match 9 times out of 10. And so if you've got a problem, this is how you sort of find it. A lot of people I've seen use the new transaction and they go spend money, receive money, that sort of stuff. This is actually going to put it into here as well. And then you've got to find that transaction when it comes to the reconciling. So my advice is don't use spend money or receive money transactions. They're going to get you into trouble. Solely work off your bank statement. And if this is obviously Cooper Street Bakery. And we'll put that in as entertainment. If you've got a receipt, you can actually upload it. So I'll just go back. Cooper Street Bakery, add details down here. And if we've taken a photo, we can edit from the file library, which would be sitting here. So I'm just going to go to the app. I'm going to take a photo. Oops. So now if I come into here, let me just refresh that. Entertainment, add details, click on your little file icon, add from file library. Because I'm in the demo company, that's why. I will show you where that picture's gone. And so that's how you would actually load that up, save the transaction, and you've done reconciling. There's no need to do a spend money transaction. So solely work off here and match it to payments that you've got, invoices or bills that you've entered into the system. You'll see here, this is Truxton Property Management, and that's got 2 arrows on it. So that's once again, Truxton Property Management, that has got that little box down the bottom saying receive a payment, and they've gone in, put in, I've received this payment on this date. So then we would need to match that payment to this one rather than cash coding it, because it won't be there to match up generally. A lot of this stuff doesn't normally come through. When you're using Match, sometimes it comes with several possible clients. Do I go into create and type in the correct client? Janine, can you just explain that one to me?
Yeah, sure. So sometimes when it's, say, your top one there for Truxton Property Management and it's green, so where it says payment, sometimes it has several different clients that I can choose from.
Yes.
Rather than just the one. So there's, I guess, because my prices are the same quite consistently, and I guess some of the names are similar in some respects, so it'll have several different clients that I can choose from. Yes. And usually I just go into create and type in the correct client and match it that way. Is that the right way to do it?
So if there are bills, if there are invoices in the system, so when you go create, you're actually creating a client. Whatever you type into here,
yeah,
you're creating a new client. So if your client is actually already in the system, make sure that you get the right spelling. Otherwise, you're now going to create multiple of the same thing.
Yeah.
So when you go create, do you then code it in here as well?
Yes.
Yeah. So what you're doing is you're cache coding. So by using this create box, you're cache coding. You're not matching it to an invoice.
Okay.
if the invoice is actually entered into the system, it's going to remain unpaid.
Okay.
So what will generally happen is it will come up saying the system is not always right too. So a lot of the time Xero would go, oh look, this is green, we think this is right.
Yeah, and it's not.
It's not right.
Yeah.
So in that case, this, imagine this is actually selected. Actually, let's go right back to the beginning. This is what it said. This is exactly what it is, blah, 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 blah. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Find and match.
Okay.
And then it brings up the list. So you can go through and allocate it all out and choose where it's going. But it will always remember this one here. So you've got to untick that box.
Oh, okay.
To then be able to do it.
Okay.
So a lot of those payments, if you have cash coded it,
yeah,
they won't have paid off the invoice. And this is what a lot of small business owners do. It's a perfect example. Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, and that's what I've found, that I've got a humongous list of invoices that aren't paid.
Yeah. And then people sit there and go, hang on a minute. These people have paid me.
Mm.
So if I come into here and go basket case, look, they have paid me because they paid me on this date back in February, and it went into that bank account. So now the payment has gone off the dashboard, the invoice is nicely paid, so we've got no issues whatsoever. It's all nice and tidy and everyone can carry on. The reality is what you've actually just done is told Inland Revenue and the GST department that you've now received 2 payments.
2 payments, yeah.
And your bank account is going to be significantly out.
Yeah.
So there's a real issue here. And when if I come into the account transactions, these are these payments off these invoices.
Yeah.
But the actual payment is further down the line somewhere.
Okay.
So if that happens, come along, remove these ones that are the payments. And then you're going to need to go back through and find the payments that match that invoice. Click on that payment that matches the invoice, remove and redo, and it puts it back over here into the reconcile tab for us to then match to the correct invoice. So I'll just do that one more time. Find the payment that you have coded wrongly, and you can clearly see what's cash coded. These are all payments, so they're attached to an invoice. These ones are not payments, these are cash coded. Can you see the difference?
Yeah, so I'm uncoding the ones that don't have a payment on it.
That's correct. So you click on the ones that are cash coded, remove and redo.
Yeah.
And then it puts the payment back into the reconcile tab for you to go through and reconcile to those invoices.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you.
Any more questions about the reconciliation side? No. Cool. When it comes to invoicing, new invoicing, put in all your details that you want to do. If under contacts you've actually put in that these people pay on the 7th of every month, this box here would already be pre-populated. If you've gone through, let me go to this one first. Bill to pay, new bill, and this is going to be holiday funds, new contact, 1st of April, due in 7 days, and it's in the reference box. Always put in your invoice number. This is what goes into there, and always attach a picture of the invoice into there. If holiday funds was an existing client, so I'm just going to go into here and type stuff. Cost of goods sold. Approve that. Holiday funds. And then this little thing pops up here, add last items. Add last items, so Xero remembers everything you've done. So the same with the bank reconciliation. If you do it wrong once, Xero is going to remember it and it's going to keep doing it wrong every time afterwards. So if you get it right the first time, you're right moving forward. Add last items, click on that little button and it brings in everything that I've just done. So if you do the same thing regularly, you don't need to keep typing it. Add last items and away you go. It would automatically populate your due date. And then you just go through approve. And because I'm in the demo company, it's not giving me the ability to email. So we'll switch over shortly. One of the key things to note is down here, history. You can actually quite clearly see who's done what and when. And after a period of time, you can add notes into here, sent the wrong goods, that sort of thing. So then you can remember actually who's done what and how. This is a prime reason why there are multiple people using individual logins and not having the same login. And when it comes to bills, I'm now going to enter a bill, and this will be from Capital, Cabco, add last items. And so then you can see here, these are taxi services. I'm going to assign these expenses to a customer. So I'm going to assign these expenses to holiday funds because that cab ride was actually for something to do with them. So I'm now going to on-charge that to that client. So that's now entered into the system to be paid. I've attached my picture and I've approved my invoice. If I now go back to invoices and create an invoice for holiday funds, and it's not going to do it. It should come up saying add billable expenses, but it hasn't. There it is, turned up. So I'm now going to add this item, and that's sales, and then we would email that out. So you can actually use Xero to track all of these different bits and pieces. So if you've got expenses coming in for someone else, attach it when you enter that invoice into the system, and then the system will remember to charge that out to the individual. The tracking categories are also another really good thing. So let's say, for example, you've got sales, and we've got sales that come from Auckland, Christchurch, and Dunedin, or east side, north, south, west coast. And we don't want to have a chart of accounts that's actually got a massive amount of lines in it. We want a nice short profit and loss. We can then actually set up east side, north, south, west coast, and when the money comes in, then we can actually track it. So this, for example, is going to be east side. And now if I go to accounting, reports, and go to tracking summary, which is under here. So this is under financial, tracking summary, And so now you can see we've got east side 2,347, north is 810, and this is in our sales account. So we can see exactly how much money at this stage. West Coast is the one that's bringing us in the most money with 15,000. And we've got this 18,474 that's unassigned. So we can click on that number. And then it shows us exactly what has not been allocated a tracking category. So this is not coming up in any of those reports and could be changing things. So once again, the tracking categories can be set up for anything in your business. It might be the type of client, it might be the type of product that you sell, there might be different regions, there might be something that you want to know without having to have a whole bunch of different codes. So then we can actually set this all up. It also means that if I run a profit and loss, I can now run a profit and loss. So this financial, last financial year now, because we're in a new one today. Add in a filter. So I want to go West Coast. And so now I can run a profit and loss solely for that one area. So it might be that we just want information purely on one aspect of your business. We can actually get rid of all the rest of it and just focus it down. So really think about where the tracking categories would be worthwhile for you. The other thing that we can do, reports, and this will answer your question, Deborah. If you want to know just one category, come down to accounting reports and then come down to the accounting reports, and we've got account transactions. And in here, you would go repairs and maintenance for last financial year. And then it gives you a list solely of those transactions in that category. Does that answer your question? Is that what you were after? Brilliant.
Yeah, I missed that. The reports at the top, I was just going further down that list, so that's cool. Thank you.
So yeah, so that's a really good one to actually check your drawings compared to your profit and make sure that your drawings are less than the profit on your profit and loss. And here in so I've just jumped back into the Xero tips and tricks one. You've got Hubdoc. Has anyone tried Hubdoc?
Yep.
So go through here, set up Hubdoc. I'm new to Hubdoc. I'm a small business owner. Technology is so not my friend today. Just go to there and do that. Now, hopefully, no, it's not going to let me do it. So let me just come back to here. Let's try this one again. I go to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to change this around. Okay, so as a subscriber, if you don't own your subscription, you will actually need to get the approval of the subscriber. Hubdoc is free for all of those that actually are paying for Xero if you've got starter, standard or premium. They were going to put up the prices last year and then COVID hit. So that didn't happen. And then it was going to be going up again in August, and then the level 2 lockdown hit. So that didn't happen then either. So I'm just trying to get this to work. Yeah. Bear with me one moment. We can't use Hubdoc on a demo account, which is causing me the issues this morning. Very shortly, Xero is moving to everyone has to have two-factor authentication when it comes to Xero. So regardless of whether you want it or not, it is actually going to be forced upon you. So get prepared for two-factor authentication. As partners, we're actually already required to be two-factor authenticated. So your turn is coming. So I'd probably suggest jump in and actually get it set up now before you're forced to do it. If I jump into, I can't even do it that way. Let me just do this. Terribly sorry about this. Right, so let me go back one. This is not a good demonstration, Xero.
Well, actually it is, because this is the sort of frustration that we have when we try and do it.
It is, yeah. I find it amusing, but I completely understand, and I will take this back and feed it through to Xero. They like hearing this sort of stuff. The aim is to be as simple as they possibly can be. Okay, we're in. But I am going to look into that. So essentially, this is what happens is you get these invoices that come through. So how you get it into Hubdoc is you can upload a document. You know how some people send through one PDF and it's got 5 or 6 different invoices in the one PDF. That's a real pain to try and enter that into Xero if you're going to upload a picture to each individual invoice reference number. So Hubdoc, you can then actually go multi-page, drag and drop it into here, and then Hubdoc will go through, read that PDF and split them all out and enter it all individually for you. So it's instant. If it's one document, you can just upload it and just drag and drop, or if you want to email it, you can actually copy this email account and it comes directly into here. When it comes to Hubdoc, here's our invoice, Foxglove Studios. This is an invoice. You can pick and choose. It might be a receipt, purchase order, whatever it actually is. In this case, it's an invoice. The system is read that it's Foxglove Studios. And if there was an invoice number on here, it would actually be reading that as well. But there's no invoice number on Foxglove Studios, and that's why that's still blank. It will, if there was a due date, the system would read that as well. And so once the system's gone through, it's read all of these points, then you've got to come down here to configure it. So if Foxglove Studios sends you the same thing all the time, you can actually save configuration, and then it's going to remember that for next time. So it stops you from having to do data entry. This one, I don't have Foxglove Studios in my Xero subscription yet. So add Fox, should be Foxglove Studios, create. So by doing that, we've just given Hubdoc the approval to create Foxglove Studios in our account. And then this is going to be cleaning. If the same thing is going to come in from Foxglove Studios all the time, and we're never going to have to change the coding, we can actually go auto sync. So what that actually means is that we get the invoice from Foxglove Studios, we forward it through into Hubdoc, Hubdoc reads it, codes it, and then pushes it into Xero, waiting for us to make payment. If you need to change anything, you can send it through to Xero into draft if you want to make sure everything's okay, or you can push it through awaiting a payment, awaiting approval. So we'll push that one through to awaiting payment. And then all you would do is publish. So next time we get something from Foxglove Studios, it's going to come directly through into Xero without us having to do anything because we've auto synced it. And there is also a phone app. So if you're going to the petrol station, so you can have the phone app of Hubdoc, take the photo of the receipt, Hubdoc's going to read it, it knows that you've been to Z, we've got auto sync on Z, it's then going to push that receipt through into Xero, so when the payment comes through the bank account, it'll automatically match and you haven't had to do anything. But the picture is there and it's actually coded everything for you. There is, you know, with technology, it doesn't always go well, and today has been a perfect example of things not going well. So if I now just jump back into my Xero tips and tricks.
Haylee, sorry, was Hubdoc a separate app or is it in part of Xero app?
It is part of Xero, and you know how I was talking about taking that photo?
Yeah.
It's come into here, into my tips and Xero tips and tricks subscription, because I can't do that with the demo company.
Yeah.
So click on your company name, Hubdoc will be there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if you are working on a cash book, you don't have Hubdoc. If you're working on a standard, a starter, a standard or a premium, you've got Hubdoc, might as well use it, it's free. And if I now...
How is it different from taking your photos straight from the Xero app?
So all that does is you can take photos using the Xero app and it will put it into your files inbox.
Yeah.
Which you can then attach, or if you're using the Hubdoc one, you can pre-code it to actually code it all, so you're not having to then go and either clicking on the 3 dots and adding it to a bill, sales, invoice, or something like that.
Right, yeah.
Or if we come into here and go to the dashboard, which we don't currently have, then you would, seriously. So if we're going, imagine this is actually a transaction in the bank, then you would be clicking on your file icon, add from file library, and then picking up your picture of your receipt.
And you're going to do that either there or in Hubdoc, not in both.
You wouldn't do both. You don't need to.
Yep, yep.
So it really is personal choice as to which one you like.
Okay.
There is a heap of bells and whistles in Xero, and I think this is a real basic overview. You've got the tracking, you've got the phone apps, you can take all the pictures, upload files, use files a lot, anything that your accountant's going to want to know, any mortgage documents or anything like that, then upload it into here. Just bear in mind that if you've got 101 staff with access, then they're possibly going to see these files. So just make sure that what you're loading up is not terribly confidential, and that if there are other chances that someone could actually see it and you don't want them to. You've got contacts, which you can create groups. So here, back in Hubdoc, we created Foxglove Studios. So this is the client that we've actually just created via Hubdoc. This bill was due 448 days ago, not ideal. And anything that's come through from Hubdoc will have HD on it. If the invoice that we've uploaded has got an invoice number, it will actually have the invoice number sitting here as well. So you will actually always know. And I can click on that Hubdoc and it says go to Hubdoc. And in here, Hubdoc has now created a file, Foxglove Studios, and all of Foxglove Studios transactions will actually be sitting here. But unfortunately, I deleted that one. That's why it's not where it needs to be. So they're all very connected, and whatever you put through Hubdoc is actually in Xero. So here's our picture attached. So that's our original documentation. If Inland Revenue says, I want to see that transaction that you paid Foxglove, we can print that out or we can download it and email it to them. So we don't need to have that paper invoice of Foxgloves hanging around anywhere. It's actually all here, and we can do that for, you go and buy a new laptop or an iPhone, upload the receipt. If something then goes wrong with that phone, we just print out that receipt and take it into the store. And yet it's so much easier to find.
Hey, Haylee, with the emailing, grabbing the emails of your invoices, can you transfer them over straight in there without printing them out, taking a photo and doing it that way?
Yeah, so if you want to go direct into Xero, you've got a couple of options. This one here is under bills. So business, bills to pay. Yeah. And you've got this create bill from email. So you would copy that email account, and I normally have it on I use Microsoft Outlook, and so I have quick links set up. So when a bill comes through, I click on that quick link and it forwards it directly through to this email address. And so that's one way to get a bill into the system. The other one is on files. You've also got another email address. So if you send it through to this email address, it's going to come directly into files. The other one's going to go directly into bills. Okay. And then it would be a case of it sits here in draft, and then you just go through and enter it.
Right, yep.
So there's effectively 3 email addresses you can use. Files, if it is documents that you want to store or anything like that, even if it does come into files, you can still enter it as a bill. So you've got, here's your picture, your invoice, click on the dots, add to bill, brings up the picture, and you would just start to enter this, put in all the details, and then save it. Or you can add it to a sales invoice. So if this is a purchase order that we've uploaded, add it to a sales invoice. Frank's a new client, due date. And this is
Couple of hours, I think.
reports. Here's our picture. That's what our invoice is going to look like. I didn't have that picture there. We're going to approve that. And if we now want to send out that invoice with the purchase order attached, you would click on your picture, your little drop down, include with invoice.
What if it's a bill that yourself, your business expense that you're paying?
So that would be entered exactly the same way, except under bills to pay.
Oh, okay. That's for us. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that's only available if you've upgraded your subscription, eh?
If you've got a cash book version, you've got dashboard, accounting and contacts. You don't really have this business function.
Oh, I see.
So if you've upgraded, you've then, and you're working on either a standard, a starter, a standard or a premium, you've then got invoices and bills and purchase orders, expense claims if you are on a standard version or premium.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I think download the app. So you've got the Xero app, you've got the Xero Hubdoc app. If you were going to take a photo using the Xero app, if you are working with Android, Apple's fairly similar, but I don't actually use Apple, but it's fairly similar. Go to, let me just refresh my memory. When you log into your Xero app, there's 3 dots in the top right-hand corner. So the 3 dots in the top right-hand corner, click on the 3 dots and you go to Files Inbox. So 3 dots, Files Inbox, back to the 3 dots and then take a photo. So that's all you've got to do is 3 dots, Files Inbox, 3 dots, take a photo. And when you do that,
So basically that's just all sitting there. It's not being done, anything done with it.
so when you do that, that comes into the Files Inbox. So if you just want to have your receipts taken care of and entered easily, then you can actually just put them into the Files Inbox.
Okay.
And then attach them to the transaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you do your bank reconciliation. If you've got a cash book only, that would be my advice. 3 dots, Files Inbox, 3 dots, take a photo, and then you can just upload those files, those pictures, to the transaction when you cash code your transactions.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. If you wanted to go the next step using your Xero app, you would click on the plus button and enter your bills, your receipts, your invoices and stuff. Just be very careful that when you do your reconciliation, that you're actually coding against what you've entered. I've seen a lot of business owners go through the app and enter all the stuff, but then still cash code it at the other end. So once again, that creates an expense and we're still cash coding the payment. So what
I think
you
that's what I've done with all mine.
And so what you actually enter, make sure that you're allocating payments to it, would be the key advice.
Mhm.
So here's that. I haven't been able to cover everything I wanted to cover today because there is so much in Xero, and we might end up doing another one. But has that answered some of your questions or not really?
Yeah. Are we doing the budgeting one today?
The budgeting, reports, budget manager.
Oh, yeah.
So this is where you can create a new budget. I'm going to add a new budget. This one is going to be for the 2022 financial year. My aim is I'm going to do $5,000 in sales, and I need to do $5,000 to break even. So $5,000, click on the little green arrow and you can tell it to go every month, a percentage of every month, or you can actually just enter an amount just in a single box on its own. So if I go into here and go, so we've got $250 there, $250. $1,000. We've got power of $300 a month. Motor vehicle expenses, I'm going to allow $75 a month for those. And telephone and internet is $150 a month. So I've just quickly thrown a budget in there, and I can see that in April I've got profit, profit, profit. September I'm making a loss. But over the year I'm going to walk away with $45,000 in profit. So definitely this is one of the key things that you need to do to actually make sure that you're on track. Sit down with the Xero budget manager, fill in all the bits and pieces, plan out what you're going to do. This is generally the same as what your chart of accounts are. So if there's something not quite right about your chart of accounts, you're going to struggle slightly with the budget manager. And then what we can do, I'm going to save that. I'm now going to run a profit and loss. Actually, I'm going to just jump back into the demo company to show this one. And one of the things you can do, when you've done your budget for the first year, you can actually go back and run a budget with actuals for the previous 12 months. And then that actually shows you what you have done, and then you can build on your budget of your previous financial activity. So it's got a bit of common sense behind it. So I've now run this profit and loss in here. I'm just going to come over to here to edit layout, and I'm going to add in some extra columns into this report. Just get rid of that. Add in a budget column. But I'm going to go back one. So I've added in a budget. There's no budget. So then it would actually say, this is what I've earned in revenue. This was what my budget was. So it's quite clear to actually see whether you're on track, whether you're under, whether you're over, or anything like that. But before we can start doing this profit and loss stuff, we sort of need to get the budget into place. So once again, the budget, accounting, reports, budget manager.
Mm-hmm.
If I want previous 12 months, I would come back to, sorry, this is going to start from April 21. but I want 12 months of actuals. So this is what we've actually done in the last 12 months. I can export that out to Excel. And then I can fiddle with those figures. There it is. And so then I can go and change all of these figures, make this budget work, and then re-upload it back into Xero with the new budget of 2022. So have any of you got budgets? Or is
No.
that something on the list of things to do today?
I'm just sitting here creating one right now.
Do you have to go into Excel and do that, change it?
No, you can actually just do it directly into Xero.
Yeah. Because I don't know how to use Excel, never.
We don't need to have, and so you can actually just go straight through
Yeah.
into the
Oh, yeah.
figures directly into Xero. Just
Yeah.
make sure when you've finished it that you push save.
Yeah. So and then more monthly figures, are they, that you're putting in there?
Yeah, monthly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you'll actually know, so if I manage to achieve this, this is the profit that I'm going to get at the end of it.
Yeah.
And then it gives you a target to achieve.
Right.
So any other questions on any of the stuff? So you've got your tracking categories. Think about those because there's a lot of value in that sort of stuff. Think about tracking categories. Think about creating that budget, getting that into place, and use that the apps, the Hubdoc and your Xero app. You might decide that Hubdoc's just too much, stick with the Xero app, no issues with that at all. And then make sure that whatever you do, you're uploading the pictures into Xero. All your invoices, all your bills, the whole lot can get uploaded, and then you don't need the paper in your office.
Great. Oh, just one quick question. With the kennel book, it can integrate with Xero. So when I set up codes for each client, like, and when they pay, it would transfer over to them and under, you know, if they're in the contacts list sort of thing?
So in contacts, you can actually have clients with an account number.
Yeah.
And so then it would all just track through.
Right.
So 7-Eleven, we're going to add an account number. They're now number 11.
Yeah.
So then I can now sit here and search that. No, it's not going to let me do it and do my yeah, so
Now,
you
just,
can
I
actually
just briefly
search
read
there.
on how you set it up, and you've got to create codes in order
Yeah.
for it to transfer the information across.
I think we probably need to look more at the integration of how the two systems work together, and it's probably not something I can
Yeah.
tell you right now without
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
So, but you do have the global search up here
Yeah.
as well if you need to find anything.
Okay. Super.
So have a play with that. That's going to get you quite a way. And what I think I might do is actually have another one a bit further on in a couple of months' time with the next level type Xero stuff. with technology that's working, and at the moment my computer upstairs died about 15 minutes before I was about to run this, so I'm a little bit behind the 8 ball. Any other questions?
No, that's enough for now. God, that's a lot.
So the key thing out of all of this, and I think GST return is right here. If you remove and redo any transactions, it is captured as long as you have finalised a return. It's not there either. So you've got to go and finalise the return for any changes to be made. No, it's not going to work either. So bear that one in mind. Anything that you change or anything like that will be captured, but if you don't finalise your GST returns and save them and finalise them, then the changes aren't captured. So always finalise your GST returns. Cool. So not my usual style of webinar. Maybe it's April the 1st. We will leave it there, have a play. Just remember, you can't break Xero. It doesn't matter what you do. You cannot break Xero. We can fix it. So just keep going and give it a go. And if you want to play with it first, use the demo company if you're worried about messing up your own file. Awesome.
Right.
Thank you, Haylee.
No worries. Catch you later.
Have a good
Thank
weekend.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.